Well, for the second successive championships, there are doubts about Germany's ability to maintain their dominance. Great Britain, silver medalists, of course, in the Olympic Games. Then Germany in lane 3. This is the same quartet that won gold last year. Belarus in 4 with Ekaterina Karsten in the bow and Yulia Bishik doubling up. She's in the 2 seat. Then Australia, who were 4th, just out of the medals a year ago.
Attention.
Dan, as they go off there, the water a little rougher, a little more poppily.
Well, you could see as they were lining up there that they were having to take strokes. The wind's blowing across the course a little bit there because they were having to take strokes just to keep the boat straight in the lanes. So it's just beginning to kick up a little bit as the wind comes in, and that could be having an effect on results. But Australia's been looking very good in the heats and the semi. They were looking very good and have to be considered here in this race. But Germany unbeaten except since 1985, except once by China in '93. Germany have to be favourites here as defending champions. They haven't looked too good in the semi and the heats, and you have to think, well, maybe they're bluffing a little bit and just not showing their hand. But they're not looking too good here. They're slipping back a bit, and they're sitting back now in 4th position.
Well, if you remember, Dan, Jutta Lau, who looks after the German sculling squad, I mean, she produced the result last year, and we're so used to, or have been so used to throughout the 90s, looking at the Germans find their rhythm, go out and dominate the race, and nobody can catch them, and they were winning by large margins. But last year we did see them come from behind.
You did, and you've got Ukraine actually way out in front now. Look, Ukraine at the top of the picture there, moving up there with Australia in lane 5. But where are Germany? Germany have slipped off the back. They're back now. You can just see their blue boat there, but they're in 6th position at the moment.
Well, qalqili-kowalski, or qalqili, the stroke, has got a wise head on those shoulders, but she won't, I think, allow that situation to stay as it is for too long. Ukraine, no strangers to starting fast. They've been often very good in the World Cup, but in recent times, Dan, when it comes to the World Championships, they've disappointed.
I do like the way that the Australian crew are sculling. You can look how they're very, very well together. They're moving very sweetly there, picking up the boat really well. There's slightly tricky water there, not bothering them at all. They're very clear with the entry of the blades there at the beginning of the stroke, moving very nicely. And their boat there running, no check at all, as they've taken the lead from the Ukraine, about a third of a length now.
Very interesting to just keep an eye on their stroke. Amber Bradley, who was junior world single sculls champion in '97, she's regarded as one of the most talented scullers in Australia.
Right, well, there she is now. There she is, and she's moving very, very, very sweetly. Just leading this crew very well. Sculls a little bit high off the water just at the catch there, but they are connecting well. Middle of the course there, not disturbed by these conditions at all. But Germany, you wondered where Germany are. They are still sitting back down the field there and having to fight back from quite a long way back.
And there's Jane Robinson, who's made the switch from sweep to sculling. Doesn't happen too often, but she's done it successfully. And sitting in front of her, Dana Faletic and Kerry Hoare. That's the quartet then for Australia. And as you said, Dan, they've made a very, very promising start, these 4 Australians.
Great Britain do in lane 2. They are moving well as well. They're sitting there in 3rd place and looking pretty strong. They're moving very, very well. But just look at those Australian blades there, picking them up, picking up the water really, really very effectively.
Coached by Lyle McCarthy, the Australian 4, and this is very interesting now because the Germans really need to get a lot closer than they are. You can see they're just getting into the fight now, but they're only amongst the pack, and the only crew who's really detached, I have to say, is the United States. And I don't know, Dan, whether the crews on this side are getting more hampered. There's probably a little bit more protection on the far side.
Seems to be. I mean, you've got Ukraine just slipping along there pretty comfortably there at the top of the picture. It's a bit tougher out in the middle of the course, which just accentuates how effective and how good this Australian quad is.
Just wonder how the Belarus can do here. Of course, Karsten, who was bronze medalist in the women's single sculls 24 hours ago, and Yulia Bishik, who got a silver medal in the pairs behind the 2 cats for Great Britain. They've had to recover, so Benetsnova and Verona, they've got fresh legs to try and help the Belarus cause. But of course, these Australians, well, they're completely fresh. This has been their main objective.
Absolutely right. Belarus doing very well there, but Australia 3/4 of a length up, and still Germany just showing now, just moving into bronze medal position and beginning to move.
Yeah, Qalqili, Manuela Lutz, Marita Scholz and Peggy Valeska. You couldn't have 4 more experienced scullers than that quartet. But have they got what it takes to come from behind for a second successive year? They're really beginning to throw it down now. They were only 6th, as you said, right at the end of the first quarter, and were second quickest, second fastest to Australia during the second 500 metres, and still I think the Australians are travelling faster than anybody else at the moment.
Oh yeah, very, very nice sculling. They really are moving this very, very well. They've broken clear now, clear water, and it's Germany putting pressure on Belarus. Belarus have been holding well in second place. Can they hold now in this last 500 metres?
What really interests me, as you see the Ukraine slipping back, is whether the British 4 of Laverick, Houghton, Wickles and Mowbray can actually go with the Germans, because if they can, Dan, they've got a real chance here of a bronze medal, because they're not that far away.
No, the Great Britain quad really have put together a very good combination here. It's a very effective. Look at this. They are now all 3 crews absolutely in line. And this is a great battle now for the silver medal. All 3 have a chance of getting that silver medal behind Australia, but Australia are out in front. No one's going to catch them.
So Australia going towards the line now, but a real ding-dong battle now for silver and bronze. It is Great Britain in line with Germany and Belarus, and it's he, or she I should say, who really wants it in terms of those medals, who's going to tough this out. And it's just a pity at the moment that we can't see what's going on the far side. Belarus still staying strong, Germany coming there, Great Britain just being held at the moment, but there they are, Great Britain on the far side there. The angle is very deceptive. It doesn't really tell the story, Dan.
No, but it does look like they're moving. They're moving back on the stern of the Australian boat, but Germany very close there, but certainly Great Britain is in there with a chance. Elise Laverick in the stroke seat. She was 6th in the world in the single scull last year. She rode herself into this quad for this year, and she's doing a fantastic job. 3 crews in line for that silver medal. Who is going to make that?
Belarus, you have to admire their strength. They're being challenged now by Germany and Great Britain. But here comes the line. Australia are going to take the World Championship. Belarus, a worthy second, and Germany are turned over for the first time since 1994. But they just have enough strength to hold off the British, who finish in a very creditable 4th place, with the Ukraine and then the United States just crossing the line in the medals next year at the Olympic Games. However, Australia join Germany and China as only the 3rd country to ever win the women's quadruple sculls since it was introduced into the World Championship programme in 1985. And that's their 2nd gold medal. Of course, it was Ginn and Tompkins in the men's pairs yesterday. Today, they occupy centre stage.
Amber Bradley.